We got to talk about Equinox Gold. Major news happened. The market sold off in the past days on the news. I believe they got this all wrong. What happened is actually excellent news for Equinox Gold, and the stock now is an even stronger buy than it was a week ago when I recommended it. Let's talk about it. Welcome to Hot Trades of the Day, your show for swing trading ideas for the coming days, weeks, and month. So, what's going on with Equinox Gold? The CEO of Equinox Gold resigned. And to be fair, often that's a bad sign for a company, and the stock market reacted accordingly, sold off the shares. However, not this time. I believe the market got this all wrong, and the replacement is actually better suited for the future of the company, which makes the company now even more interesting than it was a week ago when I presented it to you. If you haven't seen the videos about Equinox Gold, the links are right here. I highly recommend you watch them because it will help you to understand the situation that we are in right now. Let's jump right into it. But before we do that, if you like this content, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, help us out a little bit, and you will help yourself out, because you will get information like this where we can clearly see that the market will be on the wrong side because they don't have the right information yet. What am I talking about? Here we go. Greg Smith out as CEO. He comes from Equinox Gold, from the old Equinox Gold, right, to be the CEO of the new Equinox Gold. He is out. And I believe that's a good thing for the company going forward. Why is that? So Greg Smith has been with Equinox Gold from the beginning, since Ross Beatley, who's a very influential person in the gold mining sector, founded the company. And the major achievement of Greg Smith is he built the important Greenstone mine in Canada, which, as you know, Equinox Gold has three core projects. It's the Greenstone mine in Canada, it's the Valentine mine in Canada, where first pour is supposed to happen in the third quarter this year, and it is Los Filos in Mexico. That's the super choker. So he built Greenstone mine, which is a big mine, on time and almost on budget. That is exceptional, right? Almost on budget for building a mine this size. That's close enough for government work, right? And on time, excellent. However, that's kind of where it ends with Mr. Smith. That was the highlight of his CEO tenure, because under him, Equinox repeatedly missed guidance. The gold production was below the guidance. The costs were above the guidance. You want it exactly the opposite way. So he's out now. And here's the kicker. He is replaced by Darren Hall immediately. And Darren Hall, who is the current, or was the current COO of the new Equinox Gold, before that was the CEO of Calibra Mining. The new Equinox Gold became the company merging the old Equinox Gold with Calibra Mining. In the videos about Equinox Gold, I told you that the Equinox management was really good on the financial side and really strong on the capital market side, meaning they were really good at presenting the story to the capital markets, speaking to the capital markets. Now, when you constantly miss guidance, kind of tricky, right? To basically present a positive light, and that shows in the stock performance. But that's their strength, and that's worth a lot. However, the Calibra Mining management, their strength is the operations, and that's exactly what we need right now. And that's what we're getting with Darren Hall. Again, his specialty is production increased and lowering costs. What did I just tell you what the problem was with Smith, right? Constantly missing guidance, production below guidance, costs above guidance. What do we need? We need someone that is specialized on production increase, especially for Greenstone, which has been below guidance so far, and we need someone that can lower the ASIC costs. That is Darren Hall's specialty, right? So he is absolutely the right person for the job. Might actually be an understatement. As you can see and hear, I am really, really excited by him. And what I like even more is that David Schumer replaces him as COO. And he comes from Calibre Mining as well. So now we're seeing the Calibre Mining management, which was pushed a little bit to the side in the merger, now taking over. And that is a good thing. What a lot of people, and clearly the market doesn't understand, is that the mining business is a super, super hard business. And there are different stages, and different management people are good at different stages. So some people are really good at acquiring projects and getting financing done. Some people are really good at developing projects, the developers. That's where the name comes from, genius name. Some people are really good at bringing a mine into production, building it. Some people are really good at operating mines and optimizing it. And then some managers are really good at turnaround stores, right? Very, very rarely do we find managers that are great at all these different phases. And what we need right now is someone that is really good at operating mines. And that's what Darren Hall is. And the same thing can be said for David Schumer, whose specialty as new COO, and his specialty, David Schumer's specialty, is mining efficiency. Well, guess what? That's exactly what we need to bring down the cost side. So the market is selling off on the news. They're misunderstanding the news because they think, a lot of times, to be fair, what it is, CEO resigns, who has been at the helm for a long time. That's a bad sign. That's because they don't know the company and they don't know the management, right? The company, the leadership of Equinox Gold has actually become stronger with this transition. And again, this is happening immediately, which we need. We don't need a transformation period. No, screw that. We need change immediately so that the positive effects can happen as fast as possible. So this is great news. What does it mean for Equinox, the stock? I think because of the management change and the leadership change, if you do not have any Equinox Gold, the stock is a buy at the current levels, a strong buy. Now, would I buy the whole position? No, I would not. But I would definitely get a foot in the door. As you know, if you follow my channel, I, just by pure coincidence, had been a shareholder of the old Equinox Gold and Calibre Mining, both of them. So when they merged and I learned that the Equinox Gold management would make up the majority of the senior management, I actually sold my Calibre Mining shares because I was not happy about it. And I thought about selling everything, and then I thought, well, let's see what happens, right? And I really like the Los Filos Super Joker, to be fair with you. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, again, watch the videos about Equinox. And if you like this type of content, hit the subscribe button so you get these type of information that the market doesn't have yet, doesn't see yet, like we see right now with this management change. Now we have Calibre Mining management becoming the majority of the senior management right here. Excellent. That's what we want. We need operational strength in the management at this point of the company development because we need to get Valentine in production and we need to ramp up Greenstone. That's what we have right now. What are we doing with the stock? Because as you can see, it is a little bit hanging in the middle, right? In the middle of what? Well, in the middle of this uptrend, as you can see. You're familiar with this situation. This uptrend goes back all the way to 2022, and Equinox Gold has been in it for a while. Hasn't tested the lower end of the channel since 2024, which obviously makes sense because we had the rally, right? We had the rally in the gold price, the breakout, so that changes everything. But this doesn't mean that we cannot go down to at least the lower end of this support zone around 560 to 565. And then obviously we have still this double support zone down here lurking that I would not bet on, because the gold price again is at a different level now. But what we see right here could very well be an A down wave, a B up wave, followed by a C down wave. This could very well be the case. At this moment, right, we have not, it's not decided that this is going to happen, but this is what it looks like, very much so. Now, how do we know that we are indeed at an ABC correction? Well, that will happen when this uptrend is going to break. So this is what we're looking for, right? And as you can see, we got close today, but it held. Let me make this a little bigger so you can see this a little better. But when this breaks and is confirmed, the C wave of the ABC correction becomes more likely. Now, how does that make sense fundamentally? I don't know yet. A lot of times, as you know, the charts give us the story before the story becomes public. And I also want to show you something real interesting. So, if we measure this down move, it comes out around 24.5% was this down move. If this is an A wave, right, and we just made the high here, let me show you where it would take us if we go down symmetrically to, look at this. It takes us down almost exactly to the double support zone. Is that crazy or what? Maybe it's crazy. Maybe it's a little astrology for men. But those are the types of added coincidences that come together, but very, very often the stock price will go that direction. Now, here's the thing. Now you say, well, Helmi, if that's the case, then I'll just wait and I'll buy all of it around $5, which would be a phenomenal price. Yeah, you kind of don't want to do that. Why is it? Because you want to be positioned for every scenario. So what if the gold price breaks out to the upside and we go all the way up to 4,100 to 4,300, that zone that I told you in the last video? If you haven't seen it, watch that video and subscribe to the channel. Then Equinox Gold will go up. It is only a question of time until the analysts understand what just happened with the senior management change and how positive that is. Right? So you want to have a foot in the door with Equinox Gold if this is a stock that you're interested in, but you also don't want to be invested 100%. Hold some cash back, and then if it really happens that this is an ABC correction and we go down to $5 for whatever reason, for example, we get a steeper correction in the stock market and that even takes down the gold mining stocks, right? Because they are stocks, then you add to your position. That doesn't give you the perfect buying price, entry price, but it also means if the other scenario happened, which is the gold price breaks out, you're in the stock and you don't have zero and just look from outside the window, right? And this is important in investing. It is, and I'll do a special video on this, it is the question of what happens if, that people do not ask themselves. And the professionals ask themselves that all the time, right? They're like, well, okay, let's take Bitcoin, for example. I told you that I believe that Bitcoin is going to go to 1 million. And you'll say, well, it'll never go to 1 million. Okay, but what if? What if it did? How are you positioned for that? Right? And that's the same with Equinox Gold. It might go down to $5. I don't know. I'm not Harry Potter. I didn't audition for the new TV show. Probably should have, but didn't do it. But what happens? What if gold breaks out to the upside and Equinox Gold goes on a run? It is one of the most attractively priced juniors left, right? Then you want to have a foot in the door. And that's what we're doing with this double strategy. That's it for today. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.